I'm going to attempt to do something that Jason Whitlock wouldn't do, and that is put on my journalistic hat. And this video is attempting to do a deep dive into the situation involving former Green Bay Packers quarterback and NFL Hall of Famer Brett Favre. Now, a previous video I did talked about how a federal judge threw out the lawsuit that Brett Favre had against fellow Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe and former NFL punter turned ESPN commentator and part-time WWE commentator Pat McAfee for defamation. Now, back in May, uh, Brett Favre dropped the lawsuit against Pat McAfee but kept it against Shannon Sharpe. And recently, the judge tossed the lawsuit with prejudice, meaning that Brett Favre cannot sue Shannon Sharpe on these grounds again. Or in other words, Brett Favre cannot refile the lawsuit. So why did Brett Favre have all this smoke for Shannon Sharpe and Pat McAfee and not for the woman who broke the story? And I'm going to get to that in a second. But Shannon Sharpe should not have to apologize for anything. Shannon Sharpe didn't do anything wrong. When Shannon Sharpe and John Edward Billis II was on Undisputed, Shannon Sharpe made his thoughts perfectly clear about what Brett Favre did. And like everybody else, Shannon Sharpe got his information. He formulated an opinion based off that information. And as a media member, he is protected under the First Amendment. And within this context, within the information that's laid out, Shannon Sharpe formulated his opinion and he did not slander, he did not demean, he didn't disrespect Brett Favre. He just called it for what it was, allegedly. For what the alleged incident that took place. He called it for what it was. So why did Shannon Sharpe have to apologize to Brett Favre? Like he did something to Brett Favre. So I don't blame Shannon Sharpe for not apologizing for it. He didn't have to. What's there to apologize from? What's there to apologize for? What did he say about Brett Favre that's not factual, that's not backed up by some form of evidence, allegedly? That those text messages are the smoking gun. He didn't make this stuff up. He didn't like shoot from the hip. He didn't do any of that. He based his opinion off of what was reported. So why should he have to apologize to Brett Favre? For what? So I'm glad Shannon Sharpe's standing on his square when it comes to that. I'm glad Shannon Sharpe is standing on his square when it comes to that particular issue. Now he made this announcement on his on that podcast he does in collaboration with Chad Johnson or Ocho Cinco, that the lawsuit against him was getting thrown out of court. Which brings us to, or brings us back to Brett Favre. So Brett Favre, you sued Shannon Sharpe and Pat McAfee, but you don't sue the lady that broke the story, Anna Wolf. Make that make sense. How you not sue the lady that broke the story? Matter of fact, that lady, Anna Wolf, she won awards based off her journalism covering you, Brett Favre, but you don't sue her? Why you don't sue Anna Wolf? For those of you who don't know who Anna Wolf looks like, this is the woman that broke the story with Brett Favre. So why did not Brett Favre sue her? If anybody who was allegedly defaming Brett Favre's name, if he was, if anybody was besmirching the character of Brett Favre, it was this woman right here. Why Brett Favre didn't sue her? Jason Whitlock, I need you to put down the Kentucky Fried Chicken, and I need you to pay attention. Why did Brett Favre not sue her? Huh? Why didn't Brett Favre sue this woman? If this is so-called defamation, if this was so-called besmirching the character, if it was putting stain on his name, right? You would have thought that Brett Favre would have taken this woman to court. This woman, Anna Wolf, is an investigative journalist for the Mississippi Today. She covered Brett Favre from all different angles. You would think that the source of the information that came out on TV and on social media, you would think Brett Favre would have gone there, but he didn't. See, for a guy like me who likes electronics, and when I was in the military, I did a lot of electrical field work, working on electronics and stuff like that. And for anybody that's familiar with electronics, you should be familiar with Ohm's law, right? Voltage, current, and resistance, right? Voltage and current are directly proportional to each other. Resistance and current are inversely proportional to each other. So, LB, why are you saying all this stuff, man? Just get to the point. Gotcha. Shannon Sharpe and Pat McAfee were the path of least resistance, or so Brett Favre thought. He thought he could sue them to deflect attention from the fact that he is firmly implicated in this nonsense. It's a slap suit. And that slap suit was designed to get to get Shannon Sharpe and Pat McAfee to shut up about the case. Because so aside from the fact that Brett Favre didn't sue the woman that broke the story, okay, so you sue Shannon Sharpe, you sue Pat McAfee. You say you was gonna go after anybody that was gonna talk about this case. So why didn't you go after John Edward Bayless II? Why didn't you go after Stephen A. Smith? Stephen A. Smith had a hell of a lot to say when it comes to you stealing all that money. Why didn't you go after Stephen A. Smith? Why didn't you go after Skip Bayless? Right? Why didn't you go after? There's other people within media that talked about this story that holds weight on these different platforms. You didn't see Brett Favre sue them. So it was a frivolous lawsuit. It was a frivolous lawsuit to deflect attention from the fact that he is firmly implicated in that goddamn scandal. And had it not been for that water crisis, we would have never known anything about this. Because remember, September 2022 is when the story broke that $77 million of TANF funds were missing. August of 2022 is when the Jackson, Mississippi water crisis took place. Had it not for that water crisis, we would have never known this bullshit was going down. Because in a water crisis, in a situation like that, there's going to be an investigation. And there's going to be an investigation as to where the money went, where's the resources, what happened, what should have been done, all that. That's when the story broke about all that money being misspent and being misused, and people taking that money and buying Ford Raptors and funding their own lifestyle and building building sports arenas so Brett Favre's daughter can play in a volleyball game. That's where we saw all this transfer of misspent funds. And then you got the other element, which I thought was the ultimate end game, in my opinion, with Brett Favre and Jake Van Landingham building a drug that would treat concussions, because the NFL has had a big problem with concussions. They was going to take that money, build that company up, concoct that drug that was going to treat concussions. Brett Favre was going to take that shit to Roger Goodell and other executives in the NFL, and him and Jake Van Landingham was going to make money hand over fist off that shit. She talked about all that on that back channel series of articles on the Mississippi Today. And you mean to tell me Brett Favre don't sue that woman for defamation? I'm going to tell you why Brett Favre didn't go after this woman for defamation. I'm going to tell you why. You know why? Because had he went after Anna Wolf, oh boy, you talking about opening up Pandora's box? Brett Favre didn't want Pandora's box to open. Because see, Brett Favre can be on Jason Whitlock's show, and Jason Whitlock not even asking not one fucking question about those allegations down there in the great old state of Mississippi. Jason Whitlock ain't gonna do that. Jason Whitlock would rather do this. Or this. See, that's what Jason Whitlock would rather do. He don't got that about it. Because that's the type of slimy individual Jason Whitlock is. Fat fuck. What's up, y'all? I see y'all in the building. Hit that like button. Don't be cheap. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. So why didn't Brett Favre go after the woman that broke the story? Really think about that question. That woman, Anna Wolf, broke the entire thing down like it was a science project. She broke down the players. She broke down the scheme. You got people pleading guilty left and right. But Brett Favre ain't did nothing wrong. This man hired a goddamn Trump lawyer for crying out loud. But he ain't did nothing wrong. Jason, hey, I need you to put down the goddamn drumstick for a second and actually pay attention to what the fuck I'm doing. Something that you're not, you fat motherfucker. See, you got all the smoke for Deion Sanders. You got all the smoke for Shannon Sharpe and Stephen A. Smith because they're going after John Edward Bayless II, but you ain't got that same type of smoke for Brett Favre. I need you to wake up out of that couch with all the chicken crumbs on your shirt. Get that shit off your shirt and go on your so-called fearless show, even though you're too scared to come talk to a guy like me. Jason, put on your journalistic integrity hat for once and ask Brett Favre about the allegations in the great old state of Mississippi. Hmm? Now, why Brett Favre won't go after that woman that broke that story? I need you to answer that question, Jason. Answer that question. Why you got so much smoke for Shannon Sharpe and Stephen A. Smith, when they ain't got nothing to do with you. They not even thinking about you, but yet you thinking about them like it was a chocolate eclair shit. Jason, you got all this smoke for prime time. You got all this smoke for everybody else, but you ain't got no smoke for Brett Favre. Brett Favre out here stealing money from folks. Ain't you supposed to be a God-fearing individual? At least that's what you project yourself out to be. You supposed to be this God-fearing individual that is the truth and of the light, and yet you won't ask Brett Favre not one goddamn question about why he stole all that money. Now make that make sense. Make that tingle in your ear a little bit, Jason. You know, subscribing to this channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the like button and share these videos on your social media platforms. Shouts out to the LDBC. This your man. Scream at me. Heart.